That's a beautiful spring coho right there. Welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to give a quick channel update of what's been going on in the last several weeks. So I've been pretty busy and haven't been able to shoot a lot of video. So today's video is not your traditional workout video. We don't have a specific niche like just strictly fitness. We usually shoot stuff that we enjoy. I was just over the last weekend, I was visiting a childhood friend, one of my best friends, and we were just having a conversation about life in general. And what we're talking about is how far we've come. And pretty much like we came from nothing, and my circle of friends from my childhood, all of us are pretty successful now with our careers and our life. My friend mentioned, is like, man, you like to do a lot of different stuff. And I was like, well, you only have one life. And that was my response. You only have one life, you make the best of it. Because growing up, when you don't really have much opportunities, me myself being an immigrant coming to America and pretty much started fresh, I was always dreaming of all these different things that I always wanted to do. All these things that you see on the YouTube channel is pretty much all the activities that I enjoy doing, and a lot of it involves fitness. I love fishing on my kayak, and honestly, it kind of falls into hobby slash fitness as well, because last week I decided to go out fishing for the first time since the weather's finally better, and decided to just try out since all the ice melted, see if the fish are gonna bite. And I was actually fortunate to limit out on my salmon. It was the first warm day that we've had in a while, and all the ice was gone. And I checked the weather app and it looked like the wind was perfect, so I decided to go out and give it a try anyway, because it's still kind of early in the season, so you don't know what you're gonna get. I was trying to target coho salmon because right now on Lake Michigan, they're traveling from south to north on the east side of Lake Michigan. I got out there and it took me about an hour to figure out where the fish were at, general area, so I was able to, in 4 hours, I limited out on the fish. A couple weeks ago, I was, for work, I was training for a Marine unit. So water safety is extremely important to me because I'm out on the water all the time. And right now, the water temperature on Lake Michigan is around 40 degrees. In the past, I did not have the proper equipment. I would just dress warm and I'd go out in a kayak, but I'd wear a life jacket. And if anything would happen, my plan was to just swim to shore. And a couple years ago, when I was coming back in, I saw another kayaker going out. I'm on this Facebook kayaking group. And a couple days later, the same guy, I saw him posting a video of him almost drowning. So he posted it as a life lesson to have the proper gear, because it was a perfectly warm day, but the water was still cold. And he was over a mile away from shore, and he got flipped by a wake from a boat going by, and he pretty much had to jump back on the kayak because he lost his paddle drive, and he had to paddle to shore as fast as he could, and the guy was freezing cold. Eventually I started to shop for a dry suit, and in this video, I'll tell you all the equipment that I use now on the kayak. My rescue swimmer training helped out as well, because now I'll be more prepared for worse condition on the lake. The dry suit that I purchased was a Coconut Angler dry suit. If you go on the website, and those suits go for about $800. If you watch the channel long enough, I'm a huge fan of Facebook Marketplace. So last fall, I was able to find one on Facebook for around $400. If you look around Facebook long enough, you'll be able to score a good deal. So I met up a fellow kayak fisherman, and the guy never used the suit. He just purchased it and ended up buying a boat, so he never used the dry suit. So there's some really good deals out there. So I was able to get a brand new dry suit for half off. I've been using this dry suit in the last 2 or 3 trips out, and it's been perfect because I'll walk into the water, I don't even feel the cold water. But like I said, you have to think about long term, because if you flip over and you're a mile from shore, you might be out there for a while, so you have to have proper layering. I see a lot of questions on Reddit, for example. People ask, would a wetsuit be better for fishing kayak. And a wetsuit and dry suit are completely two different things, and a wetsuit is definitely not a good option for kayak fishing, so I would look at a dry suit. The second piece of gear that I purchased last year were the NRS Boundary boots. If you watch my previous video from last year when I was showing you how to remove a hook from your calf, you'll see that wearing proper boots that go all the way up to your knees would also be beneficial. So these boots are also keep your feet warm and dry, because if you walk out into the water when you're taking your kayak out, at least your feet will be dry. But also when you're pulling the fish in, and if you fish for salmon in a kayak, those fish go nuts when you bring them in and you end up getting stuck with a hook. These NRS boots have been perfect for that as well, because I've had fish come off and I've had hooks stuck into the boot, and my calf is perfectly fine, so you're not getting hooked. The third piece of gear that I've used the longest out of all of them were these Cast King neoprene gloves, and these are starting to wear at the tips, but I've been using these a lot because my hands get really cold, and these have been pretty good. So if you're on a budget, I would take a look at these, because these are designed for ice fishing, but they also work well for kayak fishing. And I've been able to use a spinning rod to cast it out, and they work just fine for casting as well. But I think I'm going to look at the NRS version of these gloves as my next gloves. The fourth piece of gear, which is probably one of the most important ones, is a life jacket. So I have this NRS Chinook life jacket, and I've been using this as long as I've been fishing on the lake, and this is a very comfortable and versatile jacket. So the only thing I added to this was I had this Benchmade rescue hook. So, you know, if you're out there trolling with your kayak, and if you're gonna flip the kayak, you might get tangled up in the line, so you might need something like this in order to cut the line so you don't get tangled up and drown. So that's like the only addition that I added to this vest, and hopefully I'll never have to use it. That's pretty much it for the safety equipment on the kayak. At the end of the video, I'll show you my fishing action. Of course, first time out, I was too excited to get out there as fast as I could, and I forgot to get the clamp for my GoPro, because usually I have the GoPro facing me when I'm fishing, so you could see how I'm bringing in the fish. So I had to put the GoPro in my mouth, so it's not the optimal way of filming fishing, but at least enjoy the fishing action at the end. And for all of you fitness enthusiasts wondering how many calories you can burn on a kayak, so if you're constantly pedaling at the steady rate of 1.8 to 2 miles per hour when you're trolling for 4 hours straight, you're gonna burn about 1,000 calories. And 1,000 calories, I usually don't even hit that during my regular workout. Slow and steady pedaling is one hell of a calorie burner. I hope you enjoyed this quick update on the channel and some of the stuff that I use. If you want to see more additional content or any additional gear and stuff that I use, or the kayak setup, if you're interested in the fishing on Lake Michigan or on your local lake, let me know in the comments. Enjoy the fishing action, and you can also check us out on Instagram at To The Core Media, To The Core Actual, and Officer178 for any additional content. And we'll see you on the next one. Got one. Number 2. Forgot the camera pole. Look at that. That's a beautiful spring coho right there. Been waiting for this all winter. Finally caught my second one. Number 3. There you go. See, this is why you wear boots. Last year I hooked myself right in the calf. It was a pain in the butt to unhook myself, so these boots really help. Number 5.